If you're a beginner in macro photography, today's video is for you. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. ABCD David here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to go from beginner to intermediate in macro photography in just a couple of simple steps. So let's dive in. So the first thing is to know the right gear, and in macro photography that is pretty easy and kind of inexpensive. And I say inexpensive in a good way because in other genres like portrait photography you need lots of gears like light and all of it to be able to achieve pro level results, but in macro photography you don't need much. All you need is just the right gear, and by the right gear I mean the camera, macro lens of course, and after that it just doesn't end there because you need other things to help you spice up your result, and that is where and when a flash comes in. And when you get a flash, you are not going to just shoot with the flash as it is, because the light is going to be harsh and it's not going to be flattering on your subject. So you will need a diffuser which will direct, soften and spread the light, and that will give you that natural soft looking lighting on your subject, which I usually have. So these are kind of like the basic things you'll need, but you could attach other things that could make your workflow easy, make your pictures stand out a little bit. And one of those things you could add is a focus light. A focus light, I kind of stumbled there. And in addition to a focus light, you could always maybe include a little tripod if you're not so stable, and maybe you could get a background card to kind of like add colors to your background, all of it. So those are the things you need, and it's just a little step. You need to know the right settings, and now this is very subjective because the right settings can be wrong in a different situation. So you'll have to kind of like be aware of the subject you're photographing, and when you're photographing it, to know what setting will work best. For a single shot, I recommend f9, f10 or f11. I use f11 most of the time, and yeah, this is going to depend on the kind of subject you are shooting, maybe the distance away from the subject, so you kind of like get more light in when you're shooting the flash. And that brings us to flash power, which is also very important. Depending on the subject, you may need a different kind of flash power, or maybe a little bit of adjustment. For me, a lot of times I'm shooting at 1/8 of my flash power. You could always make a plus or minus 0.3 or 0.7, or you could drop it to 1/16, as well as take it to 1/4, and this will all give different effects. As long as it's intentional and it's what you want, it's giving you the result, it's very okay. Now if you are doing focus bracketing, which I feel we deserve to make an entire video for it, you use different settings, so I'm going to save that for later. And if you want to be up to date when the video drops, do, what do they call that, do tap the notification icon. I think it's a bell, whatever. Now the next one is to understand your subject, the environment and ethics that cover you photographing them. And understanding your subject will help you answer lots of WH questions like where, what, all of it, you know. So once you are able to understand your subject, you'll know where to find them, and you'll know the right time to like shoot them. Maybe let's say you're trying to photograph a wolf spider because that's one of the things I like photographing. You'll kind of know when to go for the bracket, as well as when to just chill and not click it yet. So understanding your subject is really going to get you a more accurate result, or let's say it's going to really increase your chances of being able to photograph them well. Next to understanding the subject is the environment. You could probably go ahead of time, or maybe you could just check online to see the kind of subjects that are available in your environment, and this will help you save time in terms of finding things and maybe also knowing what to find. And that leads us to the next part of this point, which is ethics. So you have to respect your subject and be kind to them. I always tell people I don't just see them that way. I mean, Picture this, yeah, a portrait photographer, and let's say the first lady of your country walks in for a photo shoot. How would you treat them? The exact way you treat them is how I always urge macro photographers, nature photographers to treat their subject. Treat them as you would treat the first lady of your country. That leads us to the next point. Practice. Practice, practice, make mistakes, and seek criticism. Now, one thing that practice will help you with is that it's going to help you put all the things I'm speaking into your head, kind of like stick it more. I don't know if that point makes sense. So that's one thing practice will do, and it's going to help you discover it yourself. It's like a DIY kind of thing. So once you practice, you make mistakes, and the mistakes make you go back to the book or wherever you gain the knowledge from. You kind of like find things to fix it up. And yeah, that's one thing that will help you grow. In addition to that, it's best to seek criticism. That leads us to the next point. Follow the pros, ask questions. Now, it's best to seek criticism from someone who knows, someone who is going to give it to you brutally. Be open to criticism because it's what is going to help you and your work grow. When I say follow the pros, it's not just about seeing the final result on their on their post. It's also about checking their stories to see how they achieved it, the BTS, all of it. That is one thing that will really help you go from beginner to intermediate. I also recommend you bookmark or screenshot pictures you like from the pros or whoever, maybe from the internet, because that is really going to inspire you as well as kind of like wire your brain to try and recreate it. I mean, it's going to give you ideas that when next you see that kind of subject, you just want to try it that way. And it's not bad to want to recreate or want to do something the same way someone who did it well did it. So it's always good to screenshot, bookmark, anyhow you want to save it and get it back later when you need it. Now the next one is a very tricky one, and it is master single shot, avoid focus bracketing as a beginner. As a beginner, I don't recommend you to try putting into your head all the complications of focus bracketing and focus stacking. It's best you just try to master single shot and how to perfect it. I mean, with single shot, you get to learn a lot. You get to learn how to improve your stability, your pose, all those things which will help you capture better pictures. And macro photography is more fun when you're just taking single shot. I mean, it's fast paced, you kind of like search more, and it helps you learn more. So master single shot, let the bracketing sleep for a while till you are ready for it. Now this next point is closely related to the previous one, and that is nail your composition. Even in macro photography, composition applies. We want to see how you see things in an artistic way, how you kind of like compose it, all of it. So yeah, it applies too, and it makes your photos a lot better. So we want you to do that. And here's another kind of tip that I find subjective, which is, as a beginner, I don't think you should always shoot at 1:1 magnification. And that is because you're not very stable yet. At 1:1 magnification, you have a more shallow depth of field, which any kind of shake or whatever, it's going to get out of focus. And maybe if this constantly happens, you get to like maybe say feel bad about the picture or not feel confident in yourself. And I don't want you to feel discouraged. So most times you can try 1.3:1 or 1/2:1, and that will help you get more in focus, thus missing less shots. So yeah, that's a very subjective tip. The next one is improving your stability, and I think this comes in a couple of forms, like how you hold your camera and how you pose your body, maybe how you place your arms, knees, legs, all of it. And if you can find something to support yourself or camera, maybe like a wall, or if you're shooting on the ground, it's even better if you can maybe squat, kneel, or lie down flat. So that is really going to help you improve your stability to nail the shot, and it's even going to help you if you want to try focus bracketing. So I recommend that ×2. So here's another very hot tip, and it's all about shooting subjects you like and you are very good at shooting them. Doesn't matter if it's a spider with prey or maybe with babies or sack. Doesn't matter how many times you shoot them. I mean, if you are good at shooting them, keep on shooting them. This doesn't mean you can't try other things, but yeah, focus on your strength because it's going to help you achieve mastery, which you can then push on to other things. So yeah, that's a valid tip for me. And the most important tip, which I decided to keep it for the end, is to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss good videos like this that will help you upgrade your photography. So while these tips are supposed to help you go from beginner to intermediate, it's all going to be dependent on you, how often you go out, practice, and all of it, how much time you spend in the field. So yeah, if you are willing to put in the work, I bet you are going to move from beginner to intermediate in no time. You can find me on Instagram at ABC, try writing that, at ABCDDavid. And if you want to support the channel or the creator, have a buy me a coffee link in my bio Instagram. And I guess that's all for today, right? See you soon. Thank you. The easiest recording I've done.